The internet is riddled now with pro witch hunt clickbait. Yeah, it's like their little social experiment. You know, like people with Bill Cosby, for example. You look at the videos that say evil, negative shit about him. They've got, hundreds of thousands to millions of hits, right? But the videos that defend him and that, actually they're the voices of reason in all of this, those videos have 37 hits, 600 views. One guy who he has a strong following and he has like lots of subscribers that they view all of his other shit, hundreds of thousands of views. His Bill Cosby video, 1,400 views. Is like, oh my god. It's like people don't know they're controlled, right? They don't know that they were controlled to go buy slave-made products, right? They don't know that they're controlled to torture food chain animals by, not standing against what they're doing to the food chain animals. I mean, what they're doing to the food chain animals was a necessity back in, right after the World War II, due to budgetary restraints. But now it's just greed. Okay, what they're doing to the pigs and the cows is just greed. All right, and it's putting negative karma on the food. And in association with what Bill Gates' crazy ass is doing to the food. The guy who wants us all dead. He has power to put stuff in our food, and he's been doing it. GMO, you heard of GMO, right? Yeah, it's like. The people who are bitching about that, they got a reason to bitch. It's making people sick. You put that shit in conjunction with the chemtrails, we're all a bunch of science experiments, right? Some of us have been science experiments for years. Some of us had chicken pox as kids. They injected us with a virus as kids. It was supposed to be a vaccine, right? Yeah, it was a science experiment. Now, you had chicken pox as a kid. You get older, you get shingles. Yeah, that's it. And they know how long you're gonna have the shingles. And if you've had chicken pox, the virus is already inside you. Yeah, because you put it in me, white devil. Yeah, right. Some of us got this little weird scar by one of our eyes. We don't know where it came from. Yeah, it's like they went inside of our head and put something in there. What they put in there, right? How come some of us, it seems like people can see what we see? For real. Some of us, it's like people actually write comedy skits about our private moments. And it's supposed to be funny. And instead, if they could see it, they should be sad. They should have some compassion. Wow, what if I was that person, They can't put themselves in that position, though. Right? And it's like they in themselves are a science experiment. How much blatant, willful disregard can they harbor? How much willful disregard can one human have and still be considered human? Right? Got no regard for the animals that are being euthanized every day. Right? But camp out all night to buy an iPhone. It's like stand in line all day to get into a concert or a video game or a concert or a game, a sports event. It's like spend all day on playing video games, knowing that Bill Gates wants to kill people and he's fucked with your food. You need to be more active than you ever was. For real. Because you sit too long, it could be fatal, right? It's like you don't know you're controlled, though, so it's like you don't know that, hey, mom's was probably controlled, too. Is why she didn't instill any of these good qualities in you. That is, hey, instead of waiting outside of the mall all night for the store to open on Black Friday, let's do other stuff with our time, like go walk the dogs at the animal shelter. Since we can't afford to adopt them all, let's go walk the dogs or pet the kitties or volunteer our time, one of the ranches that are taking in abused horses and other animals, or something like that. Why don't we take a percentage of our money that we're not giving to God, even though it's His money, and apply it to something like that, right? Because 10% of everything that you get is either God's or Lucifer's, because you're on their planet, right? And it is He who gives you the power to get wealth if you are God's. And if you are Lucifer's, it is He who gives you the power to get wealth, right? What are you paying into? What, are you participating in dumbing people down to where they have zombie levels of disregard for everything? They don't care about the animals being neglected and tortured in the ghetto. They don't care about the animals being euthanized in the animal shelters and the same. They don't care about the homeless people. They don't care about the food chain animals, the cows and the pigs. They had horrible lives. It's bad enough that we have to kill them and eat them, but we're not supposed to give them bad existences while they're alive. Okay, that's why the meat's so horrible now. Okay. It's like back when we had farmers, they had free-range animals, and there at least was some of that meat making it into the food chain. There was at least that percentage of healthy food. Now there's nothing, right? It's like you gotta find a farmer, and they're attacking all the farmers, man. They're attacking anybody that is competing with GMO or trying to rescue people from it. Look what they're doing to Putin, okay? And they got people controlled where they think that Putin is a bad guy. No, Putin's leadership is sexy. It's beautiful. He's a beautiful man. He'll stand up for his nation against white devils like Bill Gates and Boehner and all these freaks that want to, loose, Muslim Islamic infidels into his nation to be terrorists and run amok, killing Christians and shit and raping babies and and fucking. Bill Gates with his GMO and Monsanto and shit. It's like he wants to protect his people from that shit. Okay? For all of his evil reputation, he's doing some upstanding shit right about now. And for all of his good reputation, look at what the shit that Obama's wallowing in, right? He's just in a big old pig pit, wallowing around with a bunch of pigs, and he don't care. He don't care that, he's wallowing around in pig dookie. With pigs and, doing piggy shit, for, temporal, non-existent power, because he's not going to be allowed to exist. He's going to have to be time looped as his victims and his ripple effects victims and his influence victims and the victims of his decisions. And then he's going to be eternally executed so that he doesn't negatively affect any of those victims. You see, just like the rest of us, he's not special. He's not above judgment, right? And it's like these freaks, they call themselves, they're controlling the masses, and they really are. They can pull off any false flag psyops event and know what response they're going to get from it. Ever since the 1960s, they've known what to do to get what response from what demographic of people. Okay, it's like there's a demographic that will respond negatively to all kinds of shit. They can get them out there protesting and rioting, and they can have all their reasons to, play with their war gear, their MRAP tanks and shit, and, their militarized police, hey, maybe people shouldn't be so controlled, right? It's like, maybe people should stop watching TV stations that are always putting graphics in the corner, when you're trying to watch a show. It's like, fuck them. That's a lack of respect for you. And what are they doing? Trying to program you or something? Yeah, I don't watch TV, but it's like every time I see somebody watching a movie, that shit's happening. They're doing something over there in the corner. They fucking with your ability to pay attention to shit, to focus. They're fucking with your focus. You see? They do it online. All the websites have shit off fucking to distract you. They're fucking with your focus, and they want to determine what you focus on. You see, they want you to, if they say that somebody's a certain way, for you to believe it. So it's like, Paula Dean and Sterling are racist, but Shaq and Magic Johnson are not. It's like, okay, it's like, I refuse to be controlled, have my mentality controlled like that. So I refuse to believe what they present. Because Bill Cosby represents family values. Suddenly he's this, supernatural powered hypnotizing rapist who can supernaturally hypnotize women to take drugs and open their legs for him in a stupor, right? And it's rape. These women trade sex for dope. They trade sex for gigs, for parts. They trade sex for every bit of power and everything they've got. And it's like, Cosby probably did show up at a few of these events where a whole bunch of motherfuckers are crawling through one of them bitches' legs. He may have fucking, got him some of that ass too. So, okay, why isn't everybody else a rapist that crawled through those same bitches' legs that same night, right? You see? It's like, because they've done so much evil shit, including 9/11, the false flag psyops of distracting with the Shah of Iran from what the UN was funding, with all nations' money, funding and backing it, taking all these young Bosnian kids as sex slaves and then torturing them to death when they got done with them. They had this big old pedophile ring going, right? You see, it's like, and they do all this evil shit. They got people hating Bill Cosby, but they're worried about Bill Cosby out walking around. He's an old man. What about R. Kelly? He got a kiddie porn ring. He got a bunch of a pedophile ring. They commit hate crimes on little white children, right? Gang fuck them and film it and film themselves pissing all over them and coming all over their little young faces. It's like, those are children, man. It's like, and where is the outrage, for that? You see, it's like, but they're not controlled, really? Well, your perceptions and your opinions have been controlled. You don't have a rage for things you should be enraged about. You should be enraged that people, were going to riot if OJ got found guilty for the crimes he committed. Yeah, that's enraging. How could anybody be so stupid? Okay? Yeah. It's like, how can people be so stupid that they crying over people that they didn't comply with direct instructions from an armed police officer and ended up dead, as they would not comply and they died, right? And it's like, millions of people comply with the law every day and they don't die, they don't have a problem, but we don't see that, and there's no regard for that, for the people who are law abiding, right? And people are like, they want to protest for the people who won't abide by the law, won't just, when you're called upon to comply, just do it, okay? And then state your case later, right? And it's like, that's the intelligent way to handle shit, okay? It's called due process. Let the cop think he's in the right. Fuck it. We're going to jail. Okay, we're going to jail. All right, that's cool. I'll get out. Ain't no skin off my ass. I'll be all right. It's like, yeah, and it's like, fucking, then they ignore the, hundreds of kids being cut down, in these gang wars every, month. It's like there's hundreds of them, black on black crime. You should want there to be more police, not less. I mean, till the numbers of those children being killed drops, okay, in places like New York and L.A. and Chicago, especially Chicago. Chicago is like a killing field, man. Don't take your kids to Chicago if you want them to live, because the streets ain't safe, and it's like and part of Chicago's problem is they took the guns away from the law-abiding citizens, so they're not even there to be able to like stop somebody that's spraying on a whole bunch of kids. They can't take out that armed criminal now because they're not allowed to have guns. Well, you have to avoid places like that, and because it becomes dangerous. Because when the law-abiding can no longer have guns, only criminals have them. and then it's terrorist land like it is across the sea. You know, they want to do to America what they've done there. And they do it with, you know, pro witch hunt clickbait.